Hello everyone. Let's give a couple of minutes to others to join. And if you are already in the live stream, feel free to post it in the chat, whatever queries you have. Or if you just want to say hello, that's also alright. So yeah, I will wait for a couple of minutes and let's let people join. Hi Parmesh, how are you doing? How's your weekend going? Hello Shiva, good afternoon. How are you doing? Hi Silebana or Kilebana, however you pronounce your name. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Doing well, Parmesh, thanks. Yeah, it's a slow start of the weekend, but it is going good, Shiva. What are your plans for the weekend, guys? Anything special happening in India? Or maybe you're in, you have already planned something for the weekend. Anything special? Just before this one, I was looking at overview video of Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra, and they have incorporated quite a lot of interesting AI features. And there were some really good use cases that I could see there. So it was an interesting video, and I was able to learn a lot more about different use cases of AI. So I was just looking into that video. I enrolled a course in MSc Big Data and Data Science at Northumbria University. That's good. That's good, Shiva. All the best. But if you have any specific questions, do let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you or guide you. I'm a student here in Birmingham, so just sleeping in after all the classes. Yeah, sometimes it's good to have that chill and relaxing time so that you can refresh your brain and maybe you'll be prepared for the upcoming week. So it's always good to have some relaxing time, and uh, that always helps you to be back in your studies with more energy. So it's always good to have that relaxing weekend. Last week was quite silent. I started the live Q&A and I stayed on for just 6 minutes or something, and there was just one question, so it was a quick one last week. Let's see if people are joining, and if you have any questions, feel free to post it in the chat. I have some questions like, does the final distinction or merit actually have an impact on the recruiter? So it depends, because some of the recruiters, they just don't look at your results, but there are some recruiters who might be interested in your results. So if you have a considerable amount of experience, so for example, if you have 3-4 years of experience or maybe more, they won't be too much interested into your grades. But if you are someone who is a fresher, then they may look into those grades, and that can have some impact. So you need to keep in mind, if you are a fresher, then I think it's always good to have distinction. But if you are not able to get the distinction, that's fine, it's not the end of the world. People usually get job, and in most cases I have seen they don't really look too much into the grades, and that's not the uh, topmost priority or the topmost criteria to select or reject a candidate. So don't worry too much about it, but it's always good to have that distinction. I worked as a data analyst at DXC Technology in India. Here as checked course procedure. I had already known 60% of the modules over there. Being a data analyst, I had done some projects as well as I have created my data portfolio as well. That's good because when you have some experience in relevant domain, it's always going to help you. So yeah, that is definitely going to help you, and try to keep building on your portfolio. So try to refresh it as um, well, by refresh I don't mean that you need to do quite a lot of projects every week or something like that, but when you do some really good project, and the projects which I'm talking about is they can take months. So if you're working on those kind of projects, and if they are really good, and if you think you are integrating different kind of systems together, it's always good to put them in your portfolio, which because it will strengthen your portfolio quite a lot. And of course, like you told, you have some experience, which always helps. I am pursuing MSc Data Science in Manchester Metropolitan University and need to find placement. Please tell me, how did you find placement? By July, I have deadline to submit the placement to university. Please tell me, how did you find placement? So I did not take placement here. So when I submitted my dissertation, that was the end, and after that I got my degree certificate. So yeah, I didn't have to look for a placement, but I think placement can be anything. One thing that you need to get confirmed from your university is that do they accept placement. So when you take job in irrelevant um, domain, so you have done your masters in data science, but then if you take a job or a placement at let's say a supermarket, will they consider that as placement or not? That is the first thing that you need to ask, because there are some universities where they don't really care too much about uh, whether you are doing your placement in a relevant domain or not. So if that's the case, then you can literally look anywhere and it should be fine. But then if you need to have placement within the domain, in that case I think um, you can try LinkedIn. But I think on LinkedIn you usually get those full-time roles. One best place that I have seen for placement is your university's career portal. So when I was doing my masters from Newcastle University, we had this career page where they used to post quite a lot of job openings, and most of the openings used to be placement year or placement work or internships. So it was a good place to look for those placement opportunities. So I would suggest that's the best place to find a placement. I don't know how relevant these full-time roles will be for those placements. Maybe you can apply on LinkedIn as well and other job portals. and see if they accept your application. And when you have these initial conversations with the hiring manager or HR, you can always ask them, I want a placement work, and will that be okay? So if they are fine, I think you should be okay. So yeah, those are the two resources that I can suggest. I was thinking the job openings or the placement openings that I am getting on my career page, how can I share it to wider audience? Probably I will just set up a quick web page and I will share those links on that web page so that you can just go there and find some additional placement work. So yeah, I'll try to see that, and as soon as I set it up, I will let you know. And again, it will require some maintenance and stuff. So I'll see how I can fit that in my schedule, and if I can do that, I'll share those links with you. Hi Ashutosh, I'm doing good. How are you? Yeah, I have changed this place. Yeah, so I moved to a newer place, and this is a studio now. It's a little bit more space. I like to sit here near the window while doing these live Q&A, or maybe sometimes when I'm just having a tea and watching something on YouTube or something like that. So I like to sit here. Now I'm focusing on ML algorithms and deep learning and natural language processing. Once I have completed the stuff, I will start doing end-to-end project. I have known the basics of MLOps as well, like I knew ZenML, that which is good. So you have knowledge of MLOps, so you know how the whole life cycle works and how to take care of the deployment platforms, which is always handy. And I think your pathway is quite clear and really good. You're focusing on machine learning and deep learning now, and once you're done with that, then you can move into generative AI. So it's good that you have the clarity and you're moving in the right direction. uh, Good job, Shiva. Is it easy for a 8-year experienced professional to get a job, or difficult in terms of high expectations from the candidates? um, well, considering current scenario, it's never going to be easy to find a job, but when you have that much experience, it always helps. And it's always good to have that kind of experience rather than being a fresher. So I have had couple of people in my batch with significant amount of experience. Some people had 15 years of experience, some people had 10 years of experience, things like that. And they were coming from completely different background. They were not from data science, data analytics, or uh, yeah, so they were not from relevant background. I think one was from pharmacy background. So I had this a student on my channel, and she shared her experience, so I should have that video on my channel, so you can probably look into it. But when you have this much of experience, and even if you are going for some non-relevant jobs, so for example you're coming from pharmacy and you are looking for a job in data science domain, it's easy to get into junior level roles, because of obviously you will be treated as a fresher there, but then you have experience, so you know uh, corporate etiquettes, which is bit hard to teach to a fresher. So sometimes company get more bang for their buck when they hire someone with so much experience but for a junior role. But if you are coming from similar background, so if you had experience in, let's say, data analytics or data science, and then you are looking for a job in the same domain, then the expectations are going to be really high, and they would want more from you. So there's always a trade-off. One more thing, I was not interested to get job in the UK. I am aiming for countries like Dubai, Australia, and New Zealand. Um, well, the thing is, you can always apply for a job wherever you want, and if company is willing to give you the offer and then sponsorship if required, so you can always do that. So that is definitely possible. You're welcome, Parmesh. You said studio, any future plans? Future plans related to what? Uh, no, nothing really. I mean, I just wanted a complete space to myself because I was living in a shared accommodation before, and then I had to think multiple time, and I had to schedule quite a lot of things. So even if I had to like cook, I had to wait for others to finish, and then when you are in sharing, there's always that restrictive kind of feeling. So I just moved to studio because now I have my own kitchen and stuff, so I can just cook whenever I want, and I can plan my day in a much better way. So yeah. Exactly, once I complete the NLP, all the things, I will start generative AI. All the best, Shiva. If I don't get placed, then how to get a job for fresher in the UK? um Again, if you want to find a job, there are a lot of different ways. You can ask for referrals, but referrals are a bit hard because first you need to have that connection with that person with whom you are asking for referrals. So I would suggest maybe connect people on LinkedIn, and the thing about connection is, you send them the connection, you be like, I'm looking for a role and I think there is this opening on your company's career page, can you refer me for this? They may or may not refer you. So the thing is, you need to send them the connection, and you have to be in touch with them um, quite frequently. So if they are sharing some posts or something, try to interact with those posts, try to send them some relevant links which you think might be helpful for them. And you can always ask them for advice, what are the skill sets that I should learn? Because when you ask, let's say, a data science professional what skill sets I should learn, they tend to give you the skill sets, or they tend to suggest you skill sets on which they are currently working on. So from that, you will get an idea what kind of skill sets are good to be employed in that company in a data science team. It can differ from team to team within the organization, but then in general, a lot of skills and platforms, they stay the same. So try to ask them for guidance, and then when you see there's an opening, or you can just directly ask them, is there an opening in your organization for data science or data analyst? And they think like whatever things they told you, you have already worked on those things, so maybe they will be more than happy to refer you. And sometimes when they have this opening, and even if you don't ask, they automatically come to you and they'll be like, I have this opening in my company, would you like to join our team? So it always helps. So you need to build some connections that way, and I think you still have some time, you can do that. So that's one way. The other one is go to different meetups. There are always some data science, data analytics meetups around all different locations, so you need to go to those meetups, try to talk to people, and in the same way try to suggest them things which can be helpful for them, try to ask for suggestions. And also, when you ask for suggestions, go back to them after a few days, weeks, or maybe months, and tell them that you have worked on this thing, and then ask their opinion if you have worked on a project or something, and ask them, how was this, do you think it is good enough, do you think this project shows my skills, and things like that, right? So just to have a conversation. So that's another way. The third way is, you can join hackathons, and if you perform really well in hackathons, sometimes you'll be able to get internships, and sometimes you will also be able to get full-time roles. So that's the third way. And the fourth one is the traditional way, of where you can go on LinkedIn and other job portals, and you can apply for jobs. And hopefully you'll be able to find something using all these three. And maybe the fourth way is, if you're seeing some job opening, reach out to the recruiter directly, send them your CV, and maybe they'll be able to look into your CV, and hopefully if they find that you have relevant skill sets, they will invite invite you for an interview. Hey Ayush, everything's good. Yeah. How about you? How's your course going? New rent. So the rent is 736 pounds per month, 37 pounds per month, and on top I'll have to pay council tax, which is around 115 per month. So that's the rent. It's a bit expensive, but I think I have much more flexibility. It is quite windy today and cold, of course. I knew some of the connections from Morocco, Germany, German people. Actually, they were my clients while I was working at TXE Technology. I am looking for those countries as well. Yeah, if you know those people and if you have kept those ties, I think it's always good to reach out to them and probably ask for referrals or maybe an opening in their team or within the organization. It's always good to keep those ties, and hopefully you'll be able to find something. Yeah, it's a pain. Yeah, exactly. But then when you are a student and you are on a limited budget, I think it's a good way to save some money. So I always suggest staying in shared accommodations as well, because then you learn quite a lot of things uh, living in those kind of conditions. Hi Roshan, are you on Instagram? I am, but we don't have this programming Cradle Instagram page. I have my photography page there. It's public. You may be able to find link in the description. Um, but yeah, we don't have this programming Cradle page on Instagram. Do you know anyone who are in the business analytics field? I have some very specific questions about that field. Yes, I know a couple of people. I also work on daily basis with some of the business analysts here in my organization. So yeah, I do. Have you ever contacted recruiters directly for hiring? Yes, I have. So when I used to apply for jobs, I have reached out to hiring managers directly, and I think I was able to get one of the interviews that way. Though it was not in the UK, it was, I think it was in Peru. But then yeah, I was able to get an interview call that way as well, and I have done that in the past. Sir, I am in start of sixth sem. I will have placement in 4 5 months. I have joined a DSA bootcamp now. Managing learning data science and DSA is very challenging. What should I do? Mm, well, there are different kind of challenges. So if you could probably just give me a brief idea about what is the most challenging thing that you are facing. Is it uh, managing two different things at the same time, or is it the complexity of the problems? What exactly is that you are struggling with? Is it the logic building in those algorithms, or any problems. So if you could give me like a couple of issues that you're facing, I hope I'll be able to guide you. Right, so there is this website called meetups.com or meetup.com. When you go to that website, you'll be able to find all different kind of meetups happening around your locality. So yeah, you can you can try to look into that website. I have personally found that website quite helpful. And then the other one is Eventbrite. So those are the two websites that you can try. I took 2 years course, how to start job search while I am doing masters, as I don't want to wait until masters complete. Right, please tell us now what are the precautions that we need to take care of. uh right, so when you want to apply for jobs early, I think it's always good to apply for graduate roles, because there they give you quite a lot of time to join the role itself. But when you apply for those full-time roles, and I'm not saying graduate roles are not full-time roles, they are also full-time roles, but then uh, I just call them differently just to keep them uh, different. When you apply for those full-time roles, they usually want you to join quite immediately. So when you have this much time, usually they won't uh, even interview you when you will say that I still have this 2 year course to finish. So it's always good to apply for graduate roles. And when you have this graduate role, maybe one or two, you can focus on your own course, maybe try to build your profile, maybe try to gain some experience, try to find some internships. And when you will nearing your course end, then start applying for full-time roles, and maybe try to find a role with good package, maybe try to find a role with sponsorship. So that's how you can do. So when you are about to finish your course, maybe when you have 1 or 2 months left, well, I won't say that you need to start around that time. Maybe when you have like 4 or 5 months left, then you should start applying for jobs, because by the time you will get your first interview, it will already be like 1 or 2 months will already be passed. So yeah, I think graduate roles are the better ones to apply for now. The course is going all right. Just got over with the first sem yesterday. I had big data exam yesterday, so ended the semester with that. That's good. How was the exam experience? Because I've never taken exam here in the UK. Was it very different from what we had in India, or was it somewhat similar to what you have taken in India? And was it really tough, or how was it? How was it, Ayush? I want to find a job in the UK right now. Can you tell me about job opportunities in the UK targeting data science and artificial intelligence? Right. So the job market, not just in the UK, everywhere is not that great. But if you want to apply for a job, I think the best place is to find it on LinkedIn and some other websites like Total Jobs, Target Jobs, CV Library. So these are some of the platforms where you can find job. And the other techniques or the methods that I talked about just in this live stream earlier, you can try to do those things, and hopefully you'll be able to find something. And just to add to those 5 points which I talked about earlier. Maybe the sixth one can be try to find a freelancing work. And if you are able to find a freelancing work from a client which is based in your desired location, and when you work for them for several time or several months, maybe years, and if they feel like you are a valuable addition, and the task that you are taking on or the work that you are doing, it can be converted into a full-time role, you can sometimes directly ask them if uh, if they can give you this full-time offer. You can take that. So yeah, that's the sixth way of maybe applying for jobs. For some people, maybe you won't be able to apply all those methods because of the time that you have. Maybe you have quite a lot of time, maybe you don't. So depending on where you are in your job hunting process, I think you can use those methods. Yeah, even in Liverpool. Yeah, even in Liverpool, the weather is completely grey today, although it was really sunny past few days, but still very cold. Yeah, it is cold. I think on Thursday it was snowing, and I think on Wednesday as well. So yeah, it was snowing quite a bit. Roshan, I actually pinged you on LinkedIn and Discord as well. I hope you will give response when you got free time, guys. If anyone is there in Discord, please let us know in chat uh, section, as it will be very helpful for us. Right, yeah. So the LinkedIn, the problem is a lot of people they reach out, and my inbox is like completely clogged now. I still try to read through some of the messages, but the thing is, if I am replying to, let's say, 5 or 6 people, because I just don't like to reply someone yes no. I try to give them some explanation, and some of the questions are pretty descriptive, so I have to be very descriptive while answering those um, questions. So it takes quite a lot of time. So if I'm replying to, for example, 5-10 messages, the next day I have like 20 more new messages. So it has become really hard to keep up with all the messages. So I try to reply on things like YouTube comments, and that's why I do these live Q&A where you can come and ask questions, and then I try to answer questions in Telegram group and on Discord as well. But then again, I don't know what's the issue with Telegram and Discord, and probably WhatsApp as well. uh, the notification, they don't stay up there, so if I don't see them immediately, they just disappear. So either I'll have to open the application and then see what new messages I have, or I will just completely miss it. And even on WhatsApp, if my mom texted me something or my brother texted me something, sometimes it takes days to reply back to them. So because I don't even use uh, any of these messenger apps, simply because if someone texts me, I can just reply to them, but I find it really hard to stay in touch with a lot of people. So I still try to look for the notification, but sometimes when you're just too busy, it's really hard to open all the apps and then see whether you have any messages or not. But I will try to I'll try to look into Discord today, and I'll see your question and I will try to reply it. If you could just let me know uh, which section you have posted your question on. Is it in general or right? I think I saw your message. My name is right. I got your message. I look into your message. I'll keep it open now, and as soon as we end this live Q&A, I will reply to you. So I can't manage data science and DSA together. I am lacking in one thing or the other. When I'm focusing on data science, I lag behind my DSA lectures, and when focus on DSA, I lack my data science course plan. Right. So if this is happening with you, I would suggest focus on one for now, and then maybe move on to the other one. I would suggest maybe you should look into DSA first, and then you can move on to data science later. Is it a self-paced data science course, or is it a live one where you have to attend those live lectures every day, or depending on the schedule? So how is it? If it's a self-paced one, I would say pause your data science course for now, focus on DSA properly, and maybe within a couple of months you'll be able to finish everything in DSA. You will be comfortable with DSA, and then you can come on to data science, because if you keep switching between both of these, you won't be able to do any of those properly. So it's important, even if you're able to just do DSA properly, you should be in a really good position. But if you think you want to prioritize data science before DSA, then you can maybe pause your DSA and then focus on data science first. But personally, I would suggest DSA first and then data science. I have already started preparing for the interviews and have no clue as to where to start. Just wanted to know more about interview structure. This will help me to be more structured. Right, so I already have a video on my channel where I've talked about different type of interviews and different steps or different stages of interviews that you get. So you'll be able to find this interview process video on my channel. Let me quickly try to find that video, and I will post the link in the chat. So that will at least give you an idea about what to expect from the interview. I'm trying to find the video. Yep, here it is. Well, in the title, I have mentioned for data science, but then a lot of these things you'll be able to find in business analytics interview as well. So this is the video link. And the main thing for business analytics or the business analyst interviews are basic programming tools like or analytical tools like Python for data visualization, Power BI, Excel is one of the most important tools. So those are things you need to know, and then your ability to understand the business, because the main idea behind business analyst is that you are going to be a bridge between your clients and your data analyst team. So what you're going to do is you're going to take requirements from your clients in a much more layman term, and then convert it into a technical problem, and then give it to your technical team or the data analyst or data scientist team. So that's the main gist behind business analyst role. So you need to understand how the business works. It's really hard to understand all the business, but then if you work on multiple use cases, if you try to understand some of the business, you will have a good idea. So if you have 8 years of experience, right, you must be having those experiences in certain domain or certain business areas. So if you try to look for a business analytics role in those domains or areas, I think you will have really good chance of getting business analyst roles, and it will certainly help you. So yeah, uh, based on that, I think you can decide which things to focus on. The exam was rather lengthy, with it just being 40% weightage, but they're both too different from Indian format. The invigilators are really serious about it, and the multiple choice questions are always there, but they are really tricky, whichever module exam it is. Interesting, interesting. And just to add to the business analyst thing is, apart from your technical skills, communication skills are also very important, because you'll be talking to your clients and then you'll be converting that problem into a technical problem and then give it to your technical team. So it's important that you don't miss anything. So requirement elicitation skills are also quite important there, and then also how to communicate back and forth uh, to your clients. So yeah, that's also important. I've talked about business analytics as well on my channel, so you should be able to find some of the videos related to that. Brief more about corporate manners you were talking about, right? So there are few things like scheduling a meeting, right? Sending an email. So I've seen quite a lot of freshers, and even I think I may have done these mistakes myself in the past. And there are few um, freshers here in my organization as well. When they are when they come up with some issues, or well, when your client tells you some issues, rather than understanding those issues, they straight away jump onto the solutions. They don't take time to grasp those problems. They don't ask questions which may help them to solve those questions or solve those issues uh, in a relatively efficient way. They straight away jump onto the solution. They try to suggest that we need to do this, we need to do that, and they miss out on all those small details, which is very important. So that's one thing. And then next, coming on to the meeting part, when someone says that I think we should discuss this further in a meeting, they straight away jump and they schedule a meeting without thinking what they're gonna talk about in that meeting. And even after scheduling, they can always prepare before the meeting, right? So what they're going to talk about, what should be the plan of attack, what things we need to um, tackle within the meeting, and what things we need to keep after the meeting, and then what should be the pathway for that meeting. They don't think about all those things. They just show up in the meeting and then they are clueless what they want to discuss about, and things like that. So that's about a meeting part. Then coming on to the email, when someone says, or when your manager says that we can email or we can send a message to someone from different team and ask for some more information or things like that, they just mention those important key points within the email and they send it away. They don't explain the whole use case. They assume that the person who we are reaching out to, they know everything, which is usually not the case. So for example, if you send an email to someone and you are working in UK, and then your colleague or someone who you are sending this email to, they are in US. So when you send them an email, you will have to wait for them to come online, and when they will be online, you will be offline. So when they send you a response, you will only be able to check their response the next day. And if you haven't included those other things, in most of the cases, the reply that you will get from them is going to be, uh, what exactly are you talking about, which project are you talking about, things like that. Then you will explain them those issues that day, and then you will get their response the other day. So this could have saved like 24 hours, right? And that's where they lack. They don't include all those smaller details. So these are the things which cannot be tested in an interview, because when you ask someone a very upfront question, a very straightforward question, they'll be like, oh yeah, I focus on small details, I always look for those small details. But when it actually comes into practice, it just doesn't happen. And it only comes with experience, when you have been in those situations in the past, and you learn these things from your mistake, or at least some others mistake. So yeah, these are the few things among others. So yeah, that's what I was talking about. And I'm not saying people with experience they don't do these mistakes. People with experience also do those mistakes, but then it's relatively less. I had two subjects this semester which had data mining and machine learning. I liked the subjects actually after doing the assignments and getting a glimpse into these modules. The teachers were not good, but I found data science rather interesting. So I will be starting self-studying more about machine learning. Yeah, the thing is, here in the UK, it's very less about professors teaching you things. It's more about self-learning. So you need to work on a lot of things on your own. They will maybe conduct some lectures where they will just answer some of the general questions, or maybe they will just walk you through some of the PPTs and provide you all the learning material, and you'll have to do everything on your own. So it's less about learning in the university, it's more about building connections and working on projects in a collaborative environment, and maybe involving your professors in some of the queries, just to be there in front of them and show them yes you are working on some of the things. Because if you do that, and when they come across some of the projects or some of the internships or any research work, and you have already been in contact with them on several occasions, they'll have that unconscious bias. They will probably tell you first that I have this opportunity, maybe if you're interested in that, and you'll be able to get it that way, rather than seeing it on your university's career page and then applying. Because if that is the way you're doing, then maybe thousands of people are going to be applying for that role as well. So yeah, it's just about that. No worries, Shiva, you're welcome. Also in our course, they are teaching us R instead of giving us option of Python, so that sucks. Sorry, I meant to say not too different from in format, right? uh so you don't have Python as an option, or you can't just you can you have to use R as a mandatory language? Is that what you are saying, Ayush? Because if that's the case, then yes, of course it sucks. But then I wonder, when you're doing your deep learning projects or machine learning projects, are you still using R for that? I feel like I have a sore throat. I had one question. I want to pursue masters, but I want to do job for just 4 5 years only and do business side by side. So should I opt for masters in UK or India? What would you suggest? I would suggest it's better to be in India and then do your job and then business side by side, because when you are in the UK there are a lot of visa implications, lot of restrictions. When you are on your uh, post-study work visa, I think you can work for a company and then you can do some business part as well. But when you move to skilled worker visa, then you will have to stick to your job, and you cannot do um, anything else unless you get permission from your organization. So when you are in India, I think you have much more freedom, and then you will not be spending lakhs on your masters. So yeah, I would suggest India is a better option in that scenario. But again, that's just my personal preference or personal opinion. If you think for you coming to the UK will be better, and maybe you will gain some um, foreign experience, you will learn about different culture, how things work here, and maybe that will give you a different perspective on business, then maybe that would be worth for you. So yeah. You're absolutely right. Makes sense. Do you know any resources where uh, we improve our domain expertise? I am just nervous, and structured presentation makes me confident. Um, I don't know about any platform where you can practice or you can find domain expertise. But if you want to find domain expertise, you will have to, well, there are different viewpoint, I would say, or different perspective from which you need to look at domain expertise. If you want to gain domain expertise from technical perspective, I think you can pick up data sets from, for example, you want to gain some domain knowledge in health sector, you can go to Kaggle, you can pick some data sets from there, from health sector, and then you can work on those data sets, and from that you will gain some domain knowledge, because some of the algorithms, they may not work on medical data set, but then there will be some other algorithms which will work quite well. So if you want to gain some domain expertise from technical standpoint, I think Kaggle is one of the really good places. From business standpoint, I think it's always good to um, maybe read or watch videos about how a particular domain works or how a particular business domain works. So maybe, for example, you are interested in supply chain, so try to pick any company, try to see how they manage their supply chain, and try to see how, what tools they're using, if it is possible. If it is not possible, that's totally fine. At least you'll be able to understand how they're managing their supply chain. So these are the kind of things that you can do, and these are the two different uh, perspective that you can opt for, and hopefully that will help you. How was your trip to India? Was it your wedding this time when you visited India last month? Yes, it was. It was my wedding, and it was good actually, because I went to India after 2 years, more than 2 years, and Kota is still a developing city. And when I went there, a lot of things had changed, a lot of new things were built. So it was a completely different place after 2 years, and there were a few places which I just couldn't even recognize. So it was good. And then seeing your family member after so long is always quite emotional and quite good. So yeah, it was a really good time. I had a really good time there. Why one pays if professors teaches nothing? Also, I think it's the same as India, as in India they do not teach well. Right. So for a lot of jobs you need a degree. So first I'll talk about India. So for a lot of jobs you need at least bachelor's degree, right? So you pay so much money to complete your bachelor's, even though you know that you're not going to learn anything from your professors. That's one way. The second is, if you're going to some other country and you're going for masters, you will be paying quite a huge amount of money there, and the goal is always, or most of the times, is to find a job in other country and maybe stay there for little longer, or maybe you want to get PR or something. So the end goal is to maybe settle there in a foreign country, and it's always hard to find a job from one country to other country. So if I'm applying for jobs in the UK or in other countries from India, I will always need that sponsorship, and companies are always hesitant to give you sponsorship. They first want to see how you work, how well you work, and are you a valuable addition to the company or not. So they first try to see that, and when you do your masters from the other country, you have that buffer period, you will have that post study work visa on which you can work, you can show them their worth, and then you can get skilled worker visa. So that's That's one way of getting a job in foreign country. The other thing is when you do masters, it's not about technical skills. It's about building connections and trying to understand how people think in different countries, because different countries have different philosophy. People think in a different way. Businesses work in a different way. I was watching one of the videos where they were talking about uh, how companies grow their business, and the mindset is completely different depending on where they originate from. So companies which are originating in the US, they always try to um, they will always try to capture the market in terms of acquiring different businesses. So for example, there is this company, and then they want a lot of people to use their product, and if they cannot do that, they buy some of the companies which are already doing quite well in that particular domain. But when it comes to German companies, they always focus on quality. They build quite quality products, and then they try to sell it to people. That's how they work. And they talked about quite a lot of different countries, so there's different mindset. So if you want to, obviously you can learn quite a lot of things online these days, but if you want to see things firsthand, it's good to go to those countries and then have those experiences and see how things work. Blah, 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 blah. Tongue twister. So yeah, that's why you pay so much. It's not to learn technical skills, because if you just want to learn technical skills, it's all there for free on YouTube, on other platforms. You can learn those things. So, and I think it goes same for bachelors as well, which I was talking about. You don't pay single penny to learn those things from your professors. You can learn all those things for free on YouTube or any other platforms. I knew Tableau very well. Do I need to learn Power BI? What I have seen here in the UK, or maybe it is growing everywhere, because a lot of these companies, they use a lot of Microsoft services already. So it only makes sense to use Power BI as well. So a lot of companies, they use Power BI over Tableau. So I would say knowing Power BI will be good, but it's not a mandatory thing. So if you already know Tableau, I think you can probably focus on gaining some other skills rather than trying to learn another tool which does the exact same thing. Because when asked in an interview, they'll be like, why are you using Tableau and not Power BI? You can always say that in my past experience, in my past company, they used to use Tableau, so I learned Tableau for that. But if you use Power BI, I can always pick up Power BI in no time, because fundamentals are gonna be same. They both are visualization tools. So but then the way they work is different, the data model they use are different. So you'll be able to pick those things because you know one. So a lot of skills are transferable, so you can always answer these questions like that. And when you feel like you have covered the whole data science tech stack, then maybe you can come back and learn Power BI. Oh, they are giving us option to use Python, but are teaching us with R, and exams are in R as well. That's a bummer. How you guys utilize AI technologies in production environment? I always use ChatGPT for emails and some of the tools for presentations, and for Excel as well. I used to use some AI bots. It depends again on different use cases, and a lot of companies, they don't allow you to use uh, ChatGPT, the one which is publicly available, but then they can have their own extensions within the organization, so you can use those things. In productions, in most of the cases, you will be, if you are building your own custom application using those chat gpt or any large language model, you will be using those API calls. And then there are a lot of different type of tools that you can use to create front end, maybe Streamlit, Gradio, Flask, on top of so that you can maybe use JavaScript, things like that. So there are a lot of different tools how you can use it in production environment. So I did my assignment in Python only, like linear regression, building decision trees, and also applying k-mean clustering to a data set as part of the assignment. I also found AI tools like ChatGPT and Bard are great tools to learn machine learning while applying algorithms hand in hand and learning code explanations. I agree, they're really good, and I think I had this video as well how you can learn full data science using ChatGPT or Bard. So yeah, they are really good tool to even learn things. Thanks, Ayush. In India, we used to get previous interview questions by any company. Is that possible here to any resource? Uh, well, I think maybe not company wise, but if you are able to prepare using those tools where you used to get those interview questions, I think questions are going to be very similar, and you should be able to cover quite a lot of things because it's not like company is gonna change the fundamental questions. Fundamental questions are going to be same, but yes, you will have to do some market research about the company itself, what kind of work they are doing, and all. I think a lot of these things are already there in the job description, so you need to read job description quite carefully, and from that you can sometimes even predict what questions they're going to ask or what technology they use most often, and maybe on that they will ask you some uh, questions. So I think you can use those tools, and again read about the company, read the job description carefully. From that you'll be able to predict some of the questions. Cloud AI is also very good tool. I agree. Cloud is a really good large language model. I will connect to you on one-to-one call, Roshan. I have a break until my second sem. Okay, Ayush. Um, right, I think I've answered all the questions, and we are over 1 hour now. So I will end the live Q&A now. I will see you guys. How to connect with you? How to connect with me? You're already there on LinkedIn, and you are there in Discord as well. I think you might be there in Telegram as well. So yeah, those are some of the. Okay, but if you're talking about one-to-one, then I think it is through channel membership. So when you join a channel membership, I think there are different tiers. So select the appropriate one, and then when you join channel membership, you'll be able to find a link using which you can schedule one-to-one session with me. I hope that answers your question. Right, have a great weekend, everyone. I will see you guys next Saturday. Happy learning. Bye.